Hello and welcome to this Friday edition of The World Report with me, Arjun Samar Mahindran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines across the world today. India mourns the loss of Dr. Manmohan Singh, former Prime Minister and one of its most transformative leaders. Known for liberalizing India's economy as Finance Minister, advancing the India-US nuclear deal, and ushering in landmark legislations like the right to information and the right to education. Dr. Singh's legacy, viewers, spans decades of public service. World leaders have paid heartfelt tributes to the 92-year-old statesman. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken hailed him as a champion of India-US partnership, crediting Dr. Manmohan Singh for the Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement and India's economic rise. Meanwhile, Afghanistan's former president Hamid Karzai called him an unwavering ally and one of India's most illustrious sons. Not only this, Canada's former Prime Minister Stephen Harper praised his exceptional intelligence, integrity and wisdom, while Brazil's President Lula da Silva remembered Singh's role in founding the IBSA and the BRICS forums. From Nepal's Pushpa Kamal Dahal to Malaysia's Anwar Ibrahim, tributes continue pouring in, celebrating Dr. Singh as a visionary leader, an upright statesman, and most importantly, a very cherished friend. South Korea's parliament has impeached acting President Han Duck-soo over a short-lived martial law, plunging the country deeper into chaos. The Constitutional Court said it will swiftly decide on the suspended President Yoon Suk-yeol's fate. Now, the impeachment of Han has thrown South Korea's once vibrant democracy success story into uncharted territory. Some 192 lawmakers voted to impeach Han out of the 300-member parliament. According to South Korean law, after Han's impeachment, Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok is next in line to assume the acting presidency. Russian air defense systems are believed to have shot down an Azerbaijan Airlines plane, leading to the tragic death of at least 38 people. Now, the flight was en route from Azerbaijan's capital Baku to Grozny in southern Russia before veering off course. The plane crashed into Kazakhstan after an emergency, with Russian aviation authorities citing a potential bird strike. However, preliminary findings suggest that Russia's air defense systems, which have been in use to counter Ukrainian drone attacks in the region, might have played a role in the downing of the plane. Listen in.
It was going into Grozny. It was a drone attack either underway or in the previous hours. There was radar jamming, which made it difficult for the airline crew to land. And by all accounts, they were hit by a missile. So we know what happened. We need to look carefully at why it happened, and most importantly, how to prevent it from reoccurring.
Syria's new authorities have launched a major security operation in the coastal Tartus province following the tragic killing of 14 policemen. They have vowed to hunt down remnants of the ousted Assad government, accusing them of being behind the deadly attack. Now, this move comes after tensions between Syria's Sunni Islamist-led government and Assad's loyal Alawite supporters reached a boiling point. The operation is aimed at restoring stability in the region. State media reports that the crackdown is focused on eliminating insurgent forces hiding in the woods and hills of the region. A new round of Israeli airstrikes in Yemen on Thursday targeted the Houthi rebel-held capital, including Sana's international airport. Damage to the airport control tower and buildings could be seen in footage aired by the Houthi-controlled satellite channel Al Masirah. The Israeli strikes followed several days of Houthi launches, setting off sirens in the country. The WHO's Director General said on Thursday the strikes on rebel-held capital in Sana'a of Yemen occurred close to where he was, and he was getting ready indeed to board a flight.
אנחנו מדליקים הערב נר שני של חנוכה. אנחנו נמצאים במלחמת התקומה, דור המכבים של ימינו, ולפני שעה קלה חיל האוויר תקף מטרות של ארגון הטרור החותי בתימן, גם בקו החוף וגם בצנע. אנחנו נחושים לגדוע את זרוע הטרור הזה של ציר הרשע של איראן. אנחנו נתמיד בזה עד שנשלים את המלאכה.
The United Nations has condemned the escalation between Israel and Yemen as airstrikes on Sana'a International Airport was one of the several targets. Others included a power station and ports on the Red Sea. The UN also confirmed that a delegation headed by the World Health Organization Director General Dr. Tedros was at the airport, in fact, when the strikes took place.
The Secretary General condemns the escalation between Yemen and Israel. Israeli airstrikes today on Sana'a International Airport, the Red Sea ports and power stations in Yemen are especially alarming. The airstrikes reportedly resulted in numerous casualties, including at least 3 people killed and dozens more injured. A United Nations humanitarian air service crew member was also injured when the airport was hit. A high-level delegation by the UN, headed by the World Health Organization Director General, Dr. Tedros, was at the airport when the strikes occurred.
Gaza authorities have said that an Israeli airstrike killed 5 Palestinian journalists in a vehicle outside a hospital on Thursday. Now, the attack, which also killed 31 others, has sparked outrage as Israel claims the vehicle contained militants from the Islamic Jihad group. However, the Palestinian Journalists Union refutes this, asserting that the victims were journalists working for Al-Quds Today. Since the start of the war in October, over 190 Palestinian journalists have been reportedly killed by Israeli forces. Protesters gathered in Israel's southern city of Sderot during the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah on Thursday. This to voice their support for Israeli settlements in the Gaza Strip. A group of around 100 protesters gathered a few kilometers from the Gaza Strip, dancing and waving flags, while trucks carried banners reading, "Gaza is ours forever." Listen in.
After the terrible massacre of the 7th of October, no more. The Arabs proved that they cannot control the place normally. Jews will come there, Jewish communities, and you see here the delegations and of a number of groups that want to settle Gaza.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has met with the U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan in capital Washington, D.C. on Thursday. In a post on social media platform X, Mr. Jaishankar said that the two leaders held wide-ranging discussions on the progress of India-US strategic partnership and exchanged views on current, regional and global developments. Russia's Federal Security Service has claimed thwarting multiple assassination attempts by Ukrainian intelligence targeting senior military officials. Now, these plots apparently involved bombs disguised as power banks and document folders aiming to kill high-ranking officers and their families. Now, this comes after the assassination of Lieutenant General Kirillov on Moscow on the 17th of December, which Moscow has called a terrorist attack by Ukraine. The FSB has promised to exact revenge for the killing and has vowed to increase efforts to prevent further attacks. Brazilian labor authorities have revealed that 163 Chinese workers at a construction site for Build Your Dreams, or BYD, a major Chinese electric vehicle producer, have been victims of human trafficking. The workers were reportedly subject to exploitative conditions in the eastern state of Bahia. Brazilian authorities, meanwhile, and contractors Xinjiang Group have agreed to house the workers in hotels, while negotiations are underway to resolve their contracts. The contractors, however, have denied any accusations of slavery-like conditions, calling them the result of translation misunderstandings. Now, this marks a significant controversy for BYD in its largest overseas market. China has launched a new amphibious assault ship on Friday, capable of launching fighter jets and designed to strengthen the Navy's combat ability in distant seas. The Sichuan, the first ship of the 076 type, is China's largest such ship yet, displacing almost 40,000 tons of water and equipped with an electromagnetic catapult. This will allow fighter jets to launch directly off its desk. The ship is designed to launch ground troops and landing crafts and provide them with aerial support. According to Moscow's ambassador to Beijing, Chinese President Xi Jinping is set to visit Russia in 2025. Now, this announcement follows Russian President Vladimir Putin's multiple visits to China, where both leaders reinforced their no-limits partnership, especially in opposition to US policy. The two countries are planning to deepen bilateral ties with specific events and initiatives still under preparation. This visit is expected to further strengthen the strategic relationship between the two nations. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian will visit Moscow on the 17th of January to sign a key cooperation agreement with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, this is according to Russia's state news agency RIA. The visit comes as Russia strengthened ties with Iran and other nations opposed to US influence, particularly in the context of the ongoing Ukraine war. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov had earlier confirmed that the defense cooperation would be a key aspect of the agreement between Moscow and Tehran. Hundreds of students in Bosnia gathered in solidarity with their Serbian counterparts, protesting against the concrete canopy collapse that killed 15 people last month in the country's north. Serbia's universities have been protesting for weeks, demanding accountability over the November 1 tragedy, where a huge concrete construction at the railway station crashed onto the people below in Novi Sad. Students rallied outside the chief prosecutor's office, leaving letters on the doorstep that read, "Students expect you to fight for law and justice without political abuse or corruption." NASA's Parker Solar Probe has turned a daring journey into reality. The Parker Solar Probe was safe and operating normally after successfully completing the closest ever approach to the Sun by any human-made object. Now, the spacecraft passed just 6.1 million kilometers from the solar surface on the 24th of December, flying into the Sun's outer atmosphere, also called the coronavirus, on a mission to help scientists learn more about Earth's closest star. The agency said the operation teams at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory in Maryland received the signal, a beacon tone, from the probe just before midnight Thursday. Now, NASA said the spacecraft is expected to send detailed telemetry data about its status on the 1st of January. People around the world suffered an average of 41 extra days of dangerous heat this year because of human-caused climate change. According to scientists, climate change worsened much of the world's damaging weather throughout 2024. Now, this year, Earth experienced some of the hottest days ever measured, and its hottest yet summer, with a 13-month heat streak that just barely broke.
What we found is that the average person on Earth experienced 41 additional days of dangerous heat as a result of climate change this year. That's just an average. The poorest, least developed countries on the planet are the places that are experiencing even higher numbers. So places like Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, Kiribati are experiencing 150 or more days just this year that are at dangerous levels of heat that we can attribute directly to climate change.
Rain lashed parts of New Delhi early on Friday, with the weather office forecasting more showers later in the day. The weather department officials said an active western disturbance and its interaction with easterly winds were causing light to moderate rainfall and thunderstorms over northwest and central India, including the NCR or the National Capital Region areas of New Delhi. According to the Central Pollution Control Board data, the air quality was recorded in the very poor category with a reading of 372 on Friday. Russia's capital, Moscow, is getting ready for New Year celebrations amid abnormally warm December. The city center is sparkling with festive decorations as specially arranged sites open for people to visit. According to local media, it will be a warm New Year's Eve in Moscow with 1 to 3 degrees Celsius temperatures, which is very unusual for this time of the year in the capital. However, such temperatures will not remain for long, and the cold weather will prevail in the morning of the 1st of January the temperature will be minus 10 to 15 degrees. It's time we slip into a short break. I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back. Richard D. Parsons, a prominent American businessman known for his leadership in media and finance, has passed away at the age of 76. Parsons was credited with turning around Time Warner after its troubled merger with AOL and played a crucial role in helping Citigroup navigate its financial crisis. He also made significant contributions to the NBA's Clippers during a scandal. Parsons was recognized as a trailblazer for African Americans in business. Asian stocks wobbled while the dollar was steady, keeping the yen rooted near 5-month lows in thin year-end trending as investors look ahead to 2025. The Federal Reserve is expected to be measured in its interest rate cuts. The Bank of Japan, on the other hand, could raise rates in the near term, with the summary of options at the bank's December meeting released on Friday, keeping alive the chance of a January hike. The BOJ had chosen to stand pat in its December meeting. The US dollar hit a 5-month high against the Japanese yen on Thursday, as expectations the greenback would be boosted next year by policies by the incoming Donald Trump administration that are expected to boost growth and lift inflation. Trading volumes were light on Thursday, with many traders on holiday after Wednesday's Christmas holiday and before next week's New Year holiday. Relaxed business regulations and tax cuts are expected to help propel the United States. China's electric vehicle giant Build Your Dreams, or BYD, is offering discounts until the 26th of January on 2 of its hybrid and EV models. Both Songpro DMI and Kin Plus EV are now priced from $13,600, down 11.5% and 9.1% respectively from their previous sticker prices. Russian companies have begun using Bitcoin and other digital currencies in international payments following legislative changes that allowed such use in order to counter Western sanctions. Now, these sanctions have complicated Russia's trade with its major partners such as China or Turkey, as local banks are extremely cautious with Russia-related transactions to avoid scrutiny from Western regulators. OpenAI is reportedly behind schedule with its GPT-5 development. The artificial intelligence model is set to be under development for more than 18 months, which is significantly higher than what the company originally planned to do. It also remains unclear when the large language model might finally debut. Novak Djokovic is confident he can still win Grand Slams, starting with the Australian Open, with the Serbian kickstarting his bid for an unprecedented 11th title and a record 25th major crown in Brisbane this week. Our top-ranked Ariana Sabalenka, who is gunning for a third Melbourne Peak Trophy, joins him at the Queensland Tennis Centre from the 29th of December to the 5th of January in a stellar women's field. The 2025 season gets underway on Friday with the Mixed Teams United Cup in Perth and Sydney, headlined by world number 2 Iga Swiatek in a first tournament since revelations that she served a 1-month doping suspension. Over in the UK, Manchester United's miserable season has suffered another Boxing Day blow. Now this after captain Bruno Fernandes was sent off in a 2-0 thrashing defeat at lowly Wolves. Fernandes saw red for the third time this season early in the second half for a second bookable offence. Wolves took full advantage to make it 2 wins in 2 games under the new boss, Vitor Pereira. United, who have slipped to the 14th place, have won just twice in 7 Premier League games since Ruben Amorim took charge last month and were inspired in attack even before Fernandes' dismissal. The annual Elephant Festival has kicked off Thursday in Nepal's Chitwan. The festival is held every year between Christmas and New Year's Day. It features activities such as the elephant beauty pageant, elephant soccer games, and traditional cultural performances. Elephants play an important role in Nepal's tourism industry. According to the organizers, the festival aims to promote the development of local tourism in the country. The Mega Millions jackpot has surpassed $1 billion after no ticket matched all 6 numbers drawn on Christmas Eve. Now that means that the estimated jackpot for Friday's drawing is a whopping $1.15 billion, potentially the 5th largest jackpot in the game's history. The odds of winning the Mega Million jackpot are 1 in 302 million viewers, while the odds of winning any Mega Million prizes are just 1 in 24. Tickets for the game are sold in 45 US states. Mega Millions tickets are $2 apiece. Listen into what the lottery ticket buyer has to say.
If I won, I would make all my family very happy and my friends, because plus I was wondering if you donate half of it to schools, will that work too? Because schools need help. So with all that money, you know, it's more money than I can ever spend in my life. So just to make a lot of people happy. That's what I want to do.
So that's all we have for you today. I'll see you Monday. Take care and have a wonderful weekend.